Hey, Stoney here with another game of Mechabellum. In this game, we're going to take a look at this new technology called loose formation on the crawler and how it's going to affect the way that we use crawler as a chaff. At the bottom here, I am playing as a elite specialist and I'm playing against Refin as a fortified specialist. I started off with tarantulas and crawlers, and being elite specialist, I cannot miss the opportunity to put down some blue crawlers. They're just so strong in the early rounds. My opponent started with stone crawlers as well as crawlers, and they're usually pretty good against a board with tarantula, and they're actually not bad if you can just put down 2 units of arc lights. And speaking of arc lights, here they are, and very standard starting for my opponent. Okay, round 2, we got a unit drop. I think being elite specialist, and if you see 3 fans, that's the unit you're gonna take, because in no other situation you'll be able to get level 1 fans. You are kind of stuck with the expensive 150 supply fans. So that's gonna be the unit I'm gonna take. And for my opponent, looking at the board here, I think he might benefit from a saber tooth simply because I have no damage at this point. It might be easier to get rid of the chaff than it is to get rid of a unit like a level 2 Sabertooth, at least for this round. It looks like my opponent also took the triple fence, and I don't blame him. Deployment is a resource in Mechabellum, and having 3 fence, you get that extra deployment for free, and this is a very excellent decision. And here I have clicked the loose formation technology. It is a 250 supply technology, and it will causes the crawlers to scatter as it runs towards the opponent. And you're going to see next round just how powerful the loose formation technology is, especially against arc lights. My opponent added 3 more arc lights. Now in normal circumstances, my 5 squads of crawlers don't stand a chance. Right? I'm going to slow this down a little bit so you can see. And as you can see, my crawlers automatically spread out like this. And when the arc lights start shooting at my crawlers, they will only get a few of them instead of 3 or 4 or 5, right? Like this guy only got 1 crawler per shot by the arc light. And the crawlers themselves, they don't really bunch up unless they engage with the enemy, which means they will stay in that loose formation unless they're all the way up against the enemy. And look at this. I got the crawlers up against 5 arc lights, and I still have crawlers left. And my tarantulas are already at the arc lights. It's just how powerful that technology is. And if you have elite crawlers that forces the arc light to shoot twice just to kill a single crawler, and I repeat, it's not a cluster of crawlers that you would normally expect the arc light to kill, but a single 1 crawler per shot. And that is significant. Alright, so that allows my tarantulas to get close, and this round is actually way closer than it should be because of the loose formation technology. Alright, round 3, we got reinforcement cards. Laser sight is very interesting. Improved wasp is also very interesting. I am elite, so that may be something I can use and abuse. Every time you see improved card is extra more effective for a elite specialist because they get upgraded unit right off the bat, so whatever benefit that's applied to the improved units gets doubled. So it's really a smart choice to go with something like that. Now for now, I just needed more chaff clear in the middle. I noticed that my center crawlers were just getting killed a little too quickly. And also, both of my tarantulas got leveled, which means I am no longer afraid of the storm crawlers unless they actually get leveled as well, which case they are. But just look at my crawlers, right? My front crawlers, yeah, they're fine. They got destroyed by this whole line of arc lights. But as my tarantula step in and start to tank on this damage, and just watch all my crawlers kind of trickling in this beautiful scattered formation. And it looks like the crawlers loose formation also applies to other crawlers. So when two squads of crawlers meet, they do not mix, or they do not sort of bunch up together, right? Instead, they try to maintain some sort of distance from their crawler buddies, even though they're not part of the same squad. All right, we've got another reinforcement cards. Now looking at the board here, I did take deployment module. I think I wanted to move one of my tarantulas more to the side here. I think it wasn't very necessary because I also got another tarantula to be put on the other side, but I didn't want to do it because I didn't have enough money to get two tarantulas to cover my flank. And I wanted to cover my flank because it was just causing a little too much delay. And luckily, my opponent took the rhino drop and decided to drop the rhino all the way here on the edge here. And here's where the loose formation comes into play again, because under normal circumstances, these crawler would just go straight to my opponent's crawler, allowing the rhino to essentially land in the middle of it, killing more than half of the crawlers. But because of loose formation, I am able to minimize the loss of my crawlers from this rhino drop. Right? So it's just such a powerful, like, it's such a simple technology if you think about it, but it just changes the whole dynamic of how crawlers are being played. We got tanks, right? If you look at this squad of crawlers, and you're just looking at how much splash damage my opponent is actually doing to the crawlers, almost none. And that's insane. That's allowing my crawlers to walk all the way up to a squad of arc light and sledgehammers. Without loose formation, that would have never happened in a million years. But here we are, crawlers running up to a arc light and a sledgehammer and dealing damage. Holy cow. Alright, we got extended range steel balls. I think that's an excellent card for my board. My board has been suffering from a bit of a DPS issue. I have decent chaff clear. I have a single marksman for air. I think I just needed something to power down large units in case my opponent did decide to put down a giant. Looking at the board here, I think absorption makes sense for my opponent if he is looking to put down a giant. Right now, most of his damage is coming from these stormcrawlers, but they're fairly easy to counter, right? You put two anti-missile devices for 200 supply, and you're essentially countering 600 supply, because this is 300 supply each of units. So that will be a very good deal. I would take that deal any day. All right, so I took extended range steel balls. I dropped down 2 packs of level 2 steel balls. My opponent decided to put down a fort with the absorption module. Two anti-missile devices went down just to deal with these stormcrawlers. Unfortunately, my opponent did upgrade to level 3 stormcrawler, which means he's spending even more money on things that just don't work. And again, look at this crawler. Single squad of crawler is making it all the way, almost to the arc light right there. Level 3 crawler getting right there in front of the sledgehammers, potentially killing the sledgehammers if the fortress is not there to help. Wow. My steel balls are able to get on target. Now, unfortunately, it is a big fortress and it's popping my extended range steel balls, which are 40% weaker in terms of HP. But it doesn't matter, I'm going to get tower, and my other steel ball is going to swing by. Alright, very good. Now we're getting to round 6. We have another unit drop. The new unit Farseer is offered, but I feel like Vulcan in this place is probably beneficial for me. I am transitioning into a hard pivot into steel balls. I think steel balls with range and with the extended range card is just so difficult to deal with. If you want to see how I got completely destroyed by the steel balls, here's a video at the top right. Go check it out. With the extended range and range, my steel balls are now shooting at 125 meters of range. Not too shabby. Alright, so I wanted to get the Vulcans so I can clear out the chaff in front of the steel balls. My opponent decided to take the high-level Farseer and also put on range to the Farseer. Farseer at level 3 actually deal a ridiculous amount of damage, almost 4,000, and that's times 2. But the problem with that is I already have anti-missile devices on the ground to deal with the Stormcrawlers, and those devices also work against the Farseer's missiles. The Vulcans are doing an excellent job of clearing out the chaff, allowing my steel balls just to get in and get log-ons. Let's just see how far this ranges. That's ridiculous. I also took the temp range this round, so my steel balls are effectively doing 140 meters of range. It's doing almost as much range as a marksman without the temp range. That's just how good they are. Round 7, intensive training is offered. I think that's a great card. I think I want to level up my steel balls even more, making them more effective at just taking down all kinds of units. Electromag is interesting for my opponent if he wants to disable some of my range tech, especially in this cluster here. I added even more Vulcan with range, just because I want to have a very definitive answer to ground chaff clear. Once the chaff is cleared, nothing really can stop my level 3 steel balls. And I gotta say, I am really liking the meta, or the lack thereof, right now. And of course, the Vulcans are still kind of OP, especially if you're taking the extended range cards on the Vulcan. But without it, I mean, without Scorch, they're just kind of doing their own thing as a really excellent chaff clear. I like the way that steel balls are shaping up to be. I like the chaff change with the crawlers because it's really going to force the opponent to answer with things like Mustangs or with things like Wraith, which I would love to see more of. But if you're going too hard on the Wraith, then Farseer becomes a very good counter. So there's a lot of very interesting strategies that's yet to gain the popularity within the community, but I can totally see some of these becoming the meta in the next couple weeks. And I'm just admiring this crawler just kind of trickling in like such a beautiful sight. And my opponent did pick up the Mustangs knowing that his regular usual chaff clear units like the arc lights and the sledgehammers are just not cutting it. Right? He needed single unit damage from the Mustangs, but unfortunately it's too little too late. I already have extended range Vulcans, and you never want to run Mustangs into extended range Vulcans. Alright, with that, and it's GG. So I hope from this game you've had a taste of what these loose formation crawlers look like and the type of damage that they can do. And I'd love to see more of it in your games. I mean, so far I feel like it's a little bit strong for a 250 supply technology. It essentially triples the effectiveness of a crawler in terms of being a chaff. So Oh, we actually got one more round here. So I'm not entirely sure 250 justifies the crawler, but I definitely think that I'm not entirely sure that the technology currently is balanced at 250 resources. I think 350 might make a little bit more sense considering how strong it is, but we'll have to see, right? Maybe we've developed something, or maybe we get used to some other type of chaff clear to deal with loose formation crawlers. We don't know, but so far, just from the games I played, I think 250 supply is a little too strong for something like this. All right, getting to the final round. I took Scorch on the Vulcans because I just have so much money. I really don't know where to spend that money. Took the Scorch, added 2 more pairs of balls. For the rest of the game, it's just going to be Vulcan balls crawler, Vulcan balls crawler. There's really no answer. My units have already leveled so hard, and with the ridiculous range from the steel balls, I don't think these Farseers are going to do much against them. Well, did you like the new technology on the crawler? Leave your thoughts in the comments and let us know. Anyways, if you're not jumping back into the game right away, I highly recommend this video. Check it out, and I'll see you on the next one.
Prepare your tactics. Mechabellum's calling. Deploy your fortress. The battlefield's alive with swarms.